weighs a ton. My pussy weighs a ton.
On the boombox again, blast off.
My pussy weighs a ton.
They go for shot for the sound side crew.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Translated word to the last letter.
The flow's crazy.
My pussy weighs a ton.
Sound
Yeah.
Yo, what is good? Welcome to the JM and Diggs podcast, episode dos.
What up, homies?
What's up, Diggs? So I didn't even think I was gonna make it here this week. I was sick, all because of the snowstorm, and of course, I spent 5-6 hours shoveling after being completely hungover after the conference championship weekend. Diggs, how long did it take you to shovel? Did you have to shovel a lot?
Yeah, you see my driveway.
Yep. So
Bringing ice. So went into the greenhouse, went to go fire up the snowblower. Belt broke. Snapped.
awesome. We'll
Yeah.
get into that later because we do have that on the board for what we're gonna
Later.
discuss. Yeah, what we're gonna discuss later. But I mean, damn, let's just get right into it. I mean, conference championship weekend Sunday was something special, especially for me and you, being from the New England area, being Patriot fans. Damn, the New England Patriots defeat the Denver Broncos 10-7. Drake May completed 10 passes on 21 attempts for 86 yards, sacked 5 times, but ran the ball 10 times for 65 yards and a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson also aided the offense with 71 yards on 21 carries. For the Broncos side of the ball, Jarrett Stidham had 17 completions on 31 attempts for 133 yards and a touchdown and an interception, which we'll get to. Game-changing moments in this game. Leonard Taylor III tipped the attempted game-tying field goal by the Broncos. Big play by Taylor to keep the lead for the Patriots. On top of that, in the fourth quarter, Christian Gonzalez, number 0, a.k.a. Gonzo, helped seal the victory with a clutch late-game interception. And then, of course, Drake May put the final nail in the coffin, scrambling for the first down in the final minutes to allow us to run down the clock. And, man, did I get lit watching this game. I was lit, like so lit. And then I had to drag my ass outside and do a little pre-shoveling, which didn't last long. I went out there and said, just, fuck this. So, Diggs, let's just get into it. I mean,
Let's go.
did you see, like, we talked about this last week, but me and you got to go to the opening preseason game this year in Gillette and watch this Patriots team in its infancy. Also happened to be the same day that they unveiled Tom Brady's statue outside Gillette Stadium. But that was a blowout game. And like I said to you this week, like, did we expect going to that preseason game that we would be here in this situation now going into the Super Bowl?
I did not.
I mean, this was a brand new team put on the board.
It was a reach. Super Bowl was definitely out in my mind.
Yeah, I was hoping for a winning record, maybe clinch the wild card, maybe, we can get a playoff win, and that was like the max, like the max I really expected out of this team. But it wasn't a pretty win though either. It was only 2 touchdowns scored in the whole game by both teams. We happened to win by just holding them to 7, and I think the big factor of this team literally is the fact that the defense is just so on top of everything. Like there's some sloppy plays sometimes, but they always seem to come around in the second half and hold their own and keep it just enough where we get the win. So, and then obviously Gonzo getting that interception late in the game. That was the moment right there. You're like, oh my God, this might actually happen when that happens. So,
How much do you think with that weather affected it?
yeah, I think the reason why the second half was more a Patriots half than the first was just because of that. I think, and we talked about this during the game. What if this game wasn't in Denver? What if this was in New England, where we were getting 2 feet of snow? It was coming down way heavier than it came down to that second half in Denver. The snow definitely helped us and benefited us because that's just, that's we're New England. That's what we're known for. But think about how this game would have went if we had to play home in the weather we were getting simultaneously in New England at the same time. That would have been a whole different game.
I don't know, because then I go back and forth. I'm like, would they have postponed it due to it not being safe for everyone to get home?
That was something also. Yeah, I thought too. Because fans would have been able to get to the stadium, but by the time that game ended, how the hell were all those fans getting home? And when people go to Foxborough to watch the New England Patriots, for people that don't understand the area,
Should have manned up then, bitch.
fuck you, Tiggs. You stole my podcast. Let's go Seahawks.
How mad is he going to be when he realizes that sign behind you disappears?
He was talking about that today too. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it would ever happen in Foxborough. Definitely, I think people wouldn't have been able to get home. And then what I was about to say was in Foxborough, everyone thinks of New England Patriots. They think Boston and that, but they don't realize that you got fans driving up from Connecticut, driving up from Rhode Island. You got people driving down from Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, all over New England to go to these games. So yeah, the drive home would have been a disaster for a lot of fans if we played in New England. So I guess it was a hidden blessing in disguise, the fact that it happened the way it happened. So yo, shout out Tosh though. Getting a PC, that's what's up, bro. And shout out to Ember. Welcome, Ember. Appreciate you coming through. But let's move on to the next game because that was the AFC Championship, but we had an NFC Championship game right after. The Seattle Seahawks defeated the Los Angeles Rams 31-27. Matthew Stafford of the Rams threw 22 completions out of 35 attempts, so 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold threw 25 completions of 36 attempts for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. The game changers in this game: wide receiver for the Rams, Puka Nacua, 9 receptions for 165 yards and a touchdown. But Seattle Seahawks receiver matched that performance with Jackson Smith Najigba, 10 receptions, 153 yards and a touchdown. And I think what really the turning point of this game for the Seahawks to get over the hump of the Rams was really the third quarter muff punt by Xavier Smith of the Rams. Once that punt was muffed and the Seattle Seahawks were able to jump on it and take the possession, Rams were trying to play catch up for the rest of the game. Even though they continued to have a great third quarter, that third quarter was very highly competitive, back and forth. But we got to the fourth quarter of that game, it was almost a stalemate. But that muffed punt and that turnover really kept Seattle. Yeah, that kept Seattle ahead, and it kept the Rams having to play from behind. And the Rams didn't really get a shot. I mean, they had their opportunities to get back in the end zone, but the last possession they got was 25 seconds on the clock. They had no timeouts, and they started on their own 20-yard line, or even I think it was even closer to their own goal line. I'm not even positive trying to remember that, but they just couldn't do it. The final play was to Puka Nacua on the sideline. His knee got down right before he went out of bounds, so the clock kept running, and that was it. They ran out of time. So Seattle Seahawks with Sam Darnold going back to the bowl. So we'll go right into it. Super Bowl 60. It will be February 8th And this is what they're calling a Super Bowl 49 rematch. The Patriots and the Seahawks played each other in Super Bowl 49. Now, what's it, 11 years later, they're going right back to the Super Bowl against each other again. Obviously, for anyone that remembers Super Bowl 49, that was pretty much up to the very final, almost the final play. That was all Seattle. They looked like they were going to win it. All they had to do in that game in 49 was hand it off to Marshawn Lynch. But for some reason, Pete Carroll and that coaching staff called a passing play. And do you remember who got that interception, Diggs? It was a big controversy because later on in another Super Bowl against the Eagles, he got sat by Belichick and everyone was mad and we lost that game and everyone said it was because they sat this specific player.
Oh, God,
You can't remember? It's all right if you
it's
can't
tip of my tongue.
Yeah, Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler, practice squad player, undrafted free agent we signed that year. He was the hero of Super Bowl 49 with that goal line interception to seal the deal. That was the first Super Bowl the Patriots had won in 10 years. Before that, they hadn't won a Super Bowl since 2004. That was in 49 was in 2014. So that was a big, big moment. And that started a second New England Patriots dynasty. We won another 2 championships after that one. Went to 4 total, but won 3. So that was that was the last dynasty that we saw in New England. And now we're going back. We're going back again. 7 years removed from our last Super Bowl appearance or something like that. I can't remember, but I got some things written down. We'll see what you think, Diggs. But I got a couple things what the Patriots offense and defense will need to do to win, and I also got what the Seahawks offense and defense will need to do to win. Patriots offense is going to need to establish the run early, whether it's Ramondre Stevenson or Henderson, either one of them or both of them. It doesn't matter. Need to establish the run early. Pass blocking will need to be the best we have seen all season. That means we need to help that left tackle side. Rookie Will Campbell's mistakes need to be limited. We need to give him as much help, whether it's a running back chipping the guy that he's going to block or a tight end or whatever. Will Campbell's going to need help, and they're going to need to limit his mistakes. And Drake May will also have to limit his mistakes. He has to make plays with his arm, not just his legs, and he also needs to
His shoulder.
Yeah, and he also needs to not turn over the ball, which is another story that we found out after the game. Kind of similar to when we found out that Bo Nix wasn't going to start last week for the Broncos, right? It was like after the celebration of the game win and after all the hype died down, we find out that Drake May is a shoulder injury. So we'll see how that transpires. But the big thing about going from the conference championship to the Super Bowl is you get 2 weeks off instead of just 1 week off. Not saying they're not practicing, but I'm sure he's got time to rest up and everything like that.
They did say he was doing passes today.
So he was practicing?
Not during the media open practice, but behind closed doors he was.
Okay, so they're limiting what he's going to do in front of cameras because they probably don't want the media to overanalyze. And the big difference between when you're in the Super Bowl versus when you're not in the Super Bowl, this game is the biggest game on the planet every year. The national media coverage that covers this game. That means not just your local media that these teams are used to dealing with all week in and week out every week. They're going to deal with now every news coverage across the country and across the world. They're going to be taking questions and seeing news coverage from people they've never even seen before. And a lot of these players are young. They're not going to be used to it. It's going to be a totally different ball game than anything they've ever been used to before. Even if they were in college and in the national championship in college, totally different when you go and play in the Super Bowl. It is the spectacle. That's why, the Super Bowl's a reference for a lot of things. That's why, like, for pro wrestling fans, they call WrestleMania the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, right?
Yep.
Because the Super Bowl is that big. It's that big of a spectacle. So, Patriots defense will have to contain running back Kenneth Walker III from Seattle. And they will also have to lock down Jackson Smith and the Jigba The pass rush will need to keep the pressure on Sam Darnold and always make him uncomfortable. And then I think those are the keys of victory for the Patriots going into this game. But let's go to the other side of the ball because I know we're Patriots fans, but let's run it back and see. Like I wrote some things down on what I think the Seahawks need to do to get the win for themselves, and it's kind of similar but reverse. But I changed it up a little bit. But the Seahawks offense, they will need Walker. They're going to need to get him going real early. You're going to run the ball and get the pressure off the passing game. But when they do have to pass the ball, they need to get the ball to Jackson Smith-Njigba as often as possible. Feed the beast. And then the main thing is control the trenches. That offensive line is going to have to find a way to stop the Patriots' pass rush, which has been a dominant pass rush all playoffs. That they're really the reason why the Patriots are here. Is that pass rush? You know what I mean? That pass rush, that run stop, that defensive line of ours is really why we're in the Super Bowl. So that's the keys for their offense. And then on their defensive side, they'll need to apply pressure all game to Drake May. They're going to have to target Will Campbell's side of the offensive line. They need to stop the run, force Drake May into making mistakes. That is how they're going to get this victory if they want to hoist another Lombardi trophy themselves. So it's a little bit of a spin on what I think they need to do, whether it's the Seahawks or the Patriots to get a win. I'm trying to cover it for both sides if you're a Seahawks fan or a Pats fan. So either or. But do you have anything you want to add in?
I think it's just going to come down to defense for us to win.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be similar to what we've seen all playoffs and seen like what it took to us to get here. The offense hasn't looked great in this postseason, and that's actually my biggest worry. I would like to see the offense to come out in the Super Bowl and show up like they kind of did late in the season because we played very well offensively late in the season, but it didn't show up in the playoffs. The defense really did get us to this championship. The old adage, defense wins championships. So hopefully, like you said, that's going to be enough to get the win for the Pats.
I'm also hoping just for a good game.
Yeah. I definitely don't expect a blowout. I do think I think our defense will definitely slow down their offense. They won't be able to just score at will. I don't see the Seahawks scoring as easily as they did against the Rams. So yep, but it's wait and see. We got a bunch of days ahead of us before we get there. So we're just gonna have to be patient. That's all. All right, we'll move on to my other sports headlines, and this has been trending all over the internet. Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Diggs, does this make any sense to you at all?
To be honest, I didn't even think he was eligible yet.
Yeah, so that was the first thing. So when I was notified about this, I was like, wait, how is he even eligible? He's only been out of the league for 2 years. So interestingly, I had to do my research. So I was correct, and you're correct by thinking this. It used to be 5 years a coach would have to wait before they were eligible for to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Back in August of 2024, they changed the rule. Coaches and owners, well, actually, owners are a whole different rule, but coaches, they only have to wait 2 years. I don't know. I don't know why they changed that rule. I didn't even know they changed the rule. If this Bill Belichick story didn't break this week, I would have had no clue they changed the rule because I was like, "What are you talking about? How is he even eligible?" I said the same thing you did. But let's get into it. Since he was eligible, since this did happen, Bill Belichick, former head coach of the New England Patriots, he's a current head coach in college football for the University of North Carolina. But here's his credentials you can see it on the screen for the NFL. He has 6 Super Bowl wins, which is first amongst anyone else eligible to be put in the Hall of Fame. He has 9 Super Bowl appearances, which is first amongst anybody eligible to go in the Hall of Fame. He has 31 playoff wins, first of anybody eligible to go in. He has 302 regular season wins, which is third of anybody else eligible to go in, or that's already in, I should say. And then 33 total wins as a head coach, which is only second in and he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Also, what's not included on the graphic on the screen, he's also a 2-time Super Bowl champion as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants. So he's won early in his career as a defensive coordinator. He won 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator with the New York Giants, and then found his way eventually to New England and took 20 years. And he had another 6 Super Bowls with them, 9 appearances total. I don't understand it. And it obviously is going to go back. The only reason I can say it goes back to Deflategate and it goes back to Spygate. Those 2 controversies, those cheating scandals that me and you as Patriot fans had to live through, that must be what came back and bit Bill Belichick in the ass.
Wasn't there something with him though that came up like 6 months to a year ago? There was some big
Not
drama.
Not that I can remember. I mean, he's had a lot of drama going on since he left New England. I mean, he left New England, and then some stuff behind the scenes happened between him and Robert Kraft. So he is actually not on good terms with the New England Patriots right now. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when he was coaching UNC still? Yeah, he banned any New England Patriots scout from the facility and didn't allow our scouts to scout anybody from his team.
Wow.
Yeah, he showed a new level of pettiness. And then when they asked him about it in a press conference, he says, well, I'm not allowed to go to New England. So why am I going to allow them to come here and see us?
Them getting.
And then Mike Vrabel got asked about that. And Mike Vrabel said, that's bullshit. Mike Vrabel said, he was here when Tom got inducted into the Pats Hall of Fame, so I don't understand why he thinks he's not allowed here now. That has nothing to do with me, but as far as I know, he's allowed in the facility. I don't understand where that came from. So Vrabel kind of called him out, and that was early when Vrabel just took the job, really. So I don't know. The egos between coaches and organizations is just wild to me, but overall, I mean, what's your final take on this? I mean, Bill Belichick has to wait another year. Do you think he gets in next year, or do you think they snuff him again next year?
I was thinking probably 2 years.
Another 2 years he has to wait? See, here's the question, too. If they just kept the fucking rule the same and he had to wait the 5 years it used to be, would we even be having this goddamn fucking discussion? You know what I mean? Because I guarantee he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if they just waited 5 years.
What was his record in college?
Oh, that's a disaster. I don't even know, but I know it was not good. But that shouldn't.
I knew it wasn't good, but I just wasn't sure of the record.
Oh yeah, it was a terrible record. I don't even know what UNC's record was last season, but it was bad. It was a disaster. They did get some wins. I won't say they went winless, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But
I think that also put a little bit of taste in some people's.
But it shouldn't, though, because this is the Pro Football Hall of Fame we're talking about. It's got nothing to do with the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but if I was going to go in the Hall of Fame and I had some stupid scandal, like I was banging a freaking 18-year-old.
That's happening, too, with him.
I know what I'm saying. Like, all those little things, even though it's just about my football.
Yeah, she's not 18, but he's in the 70s. She's in her, she's not even in her mid-20s yet, I don't think. Well, whatever.
All right. Saying, all those little things add up.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I do think there were some people on that panel I heard that were not fans of Belichick, so that also could have had something to do with it. He got 40 out of the 50 votes. So 10 votes he didn't get. So I don't know how the voting process works for it totally, but there's definitely some people in that room that just probably weren't a fan of him also. So
yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, moving on. This is pretty sad news, heartbreaking news, but you ever see that movie Concussion, Diggs, with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this kind of relates to that, but this just happened recently. Ex-NFL star Kevin Johnson was found dead in a homeless camp in South Los Angeles. 55 years old, former defensive lineman was reportedly stabbed to death. Johnson was drafted by the New England Patriots in 1993 as the 84th overall pick. In his 7-year NFL career, he also played for the Oakland Raiders and the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles, racking up a total of 54 total tackles and 7 solo sacks. After Kevin Johnson's football career ended, he began to have side effects and health issues due to years of excessive head trauma from football. Eventually, his marriage fell apart and he started living on the streets, all because of his unpredictable behavior. This is very similar. So, in the movie Concussion with Will Smith, it talks about how the term CTE ever existed and how it totally flipped the NFL's world upside down. And it all started with a former Pittsburgh Steelers center, Mike Webster. And that's what really led to the discovery of the brain trauma. And yeah, if you ever get a chance to watch Concussion, I'm not a huge Will Smith fan, but that movie, if you're a football fan, is very educational. Just showing you how like football went from being a hard hitting, violent game. I'm not saying it's not still, but they got so many rules and protocols to try to lessen the impact of all the different impacts, like the tackles and things like that. Like they even changed you remember when they changed the kickoff rule, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, the kickoff, like you'd be the kicking team would be at their own like 25-yard line, 30, and then run all down the field full speed and nail these guys. But now they changed it where they don't have as much room to run, so it's less of an impact. But you still see some vicious hits. They're never going to completely stop it. But my thing with this is just like, all right, for this dude was found stabbed to death in a homeless camp, dude. So that means this guy was obviously living on the streets for like a good amount of time in his life, right? My question is, where's the NFL in this? Like, because the whole NFL Players Association, after the CTE stuff came out, they boycotted. When the new bargaining agreement came out, they thought the season was going to get canceled because they weren't coming to an agreement. It's when all the health changes came, the trauma treatment and the different safety protocols had to come into place. And it's like, and then then that's when all the players got health benefits for the years after. But like when it gets this bad, like the fact that the players like this guy died at what did I say, 55 years old. So there was no type of program for the NFL offers for people like this, former players that are going, like, you don't need to pay the guy a bunch of money to just get the guy off the fucking street, right?
I don't even pay him. Just get him a little bit of help. Get him
Right. 7 years in your league, and then you can't do nothing for the guy. Like that's just crazy to me, man. I don't understand how something like this happens. Like,
How many other former players do you think are
right, and
just
then
like him?
going back to Mike Webster, the former Pittsburgh Steelers center, with the hit that started that got CTE to be discovered as a disorder. Dude, when they found his body, this guy was like so crazy because of the head trauma he dealt with in his career. He was taking a taser and tasing himself until he knocks himself unconscious because he couldn't feel nothing. And then this other thing he was doing was, for some reason, he was ripping his own teeth out of his skull and then super gluing them back in. Like, that's how fucking his head was so fucked up. I really don't understand how still to this day, because I don't know how many years ago that was when let me look that up real quick, when Mike Webster died. Mike Webster death. All right, so it was 2002. All right.
24th.
Okay. So September 24th, 2002. And then it took probably another, I don't know, maybe 4 years or something like that before the NFL really started getting pressure by the public about CTE, because that's when it was, in the following years after that, it got determined what CTE was. And then the league had to make a lot of changes, and then the bargaining agreement between the league and the Players Association really caused a lot of issues, but they eventually came to an agreement where they were going to give these people help. I'm not all right, so that happened in 2002, and then years later they made a bunch of,
07 is when they became to terms.
okay, so they went to terms in 07. All right, so it's 07. So just under 20 years later, we're still finding reports of players going absolutely nuts because of head trauma in their career. That's I just think that's ridiculous. I think the league still needs to be held responsible. When you ask these guys, he didn't have a crazy long career for the NFL. I mean, he had above average for his position. 7 years is not, not something to just like laugh at. So, that's crazy, man. I don't know. I just feel bad for him, his family. The fact that he got to such a place with his family that he ended up on the street and divorced, like, and it's all due to what he chose to do for a career, and that the company that he was employed for does nothing for him in his later years, and he's not even elderly. He died at 55, like crazy. But all right, last sports topic, and we'll get back into the snow. So this is kind of crazy. Jim Irsay, the former owner of the Indianapolis Colts, it was announced last week. It was actually, I found it out right after we ended the podcast last week. So this is probably a week old story, but we found out there's an FBI investigation into the death of Jim Irsay. He died last May at 65 years old, and now it's being said that they're investigating a doctor, Dr. Harry. I'm not going to pronounce this right. Haratunen. Supposedly, Irsay, obviously, when he was the owner, I don't know if you knew this, Diggs, but he had a big alcohol problem. He had obviously had a substance abuse problem. He got in trouble a few times during his ownership because he got caught on camera, like exposing himself out at nightclubs and shit. Like he was not acting like an NFL owner whatsoever. And he was always like, and he was doing the typical old rich guy thing, dating young supermodels or whatever. And we always knew he had a substance abuse problem, but then he passed away at a young age. But now the FBI is investigating because they found out or have evidence that this doctor was prescribing him pain pills and even ketamine. That'll do it, right? Like, you think of an NFL owner, billionaire taking ketamine, dude? Like, that's fucking nuts to me, bro.
I figured he would have been at least doing rails.
Well, he was probably doing all that too. I'm not saying anything was off the table, but the fact that he passed away almost a full year ago. That was kind of nuts when I heard about that. So, but yeah.
Did they pull the doctor's license or?
I don't know. They all said was he's currently under investigation because all they they still only released the original discovery of his death, and they just said cardiac arrest, which drugs can trigger cardiac arrest. So who knows actually, what did it? But I'm guessing the FBI obviously has some sort of evidence if they're going to be investigating this doctor that hard. So.
Probably writing scripts for a few other people.
Right, and I'm thinking that he probably is on their radar for one thing or the other. But anyway, so going outside of sports, what we'll do is I want to actually go over a clip from our fellow podcasters over at Bong Rips and Video Games.
Never heard of them.
This past weekend, they had I don't know if this is correct. I might have to get correct. Was it episode 0 of season 3, or did I see that? It was episode 10. They missed a number. Okay, so correction. This is from episode 10 of they're in the 3rd season last week in that BRBG. This is just a small clip. They were talking about because we were getting the snow, and they were talking about all the snowstorms they could remember in their past. So I want to play this clip quickly and then reference something from that me and you, Diggs, are pretty familiar with just by growing up in the Rhode Island area.
All right.
Excusable for only a second. Oh my God, man!
Get the fuck out of here.
But it's all good, man. Look, we've gone through snow before. 96 came around. We dealt with that. Fucking years after that, it's been bipolar every year since.
The blizzard of 96, the blizzard of 2003.
That's it. And now we get the blizzard of 26, bro. Fuck it.
So actually, the statistics are 96, 2006, 16, and now 2026.
So
Every
every 10 years on the dot.
What's crazy is that if you look at the numbers, each year it's gotten worse and worse.
Oh shit.
So then 2027. 36. That's what we're waiting on next. 2036 is when we're gonna basically snowfall. Like we're gonna end up like Snowpiercer, traveling on.
They're saying South Jersey is for some reason South Jersey is getting like 6 inches. Central Jersey is getting 12 to 18, and
we're getting 12.
Yeah,
they're showing 12 on our.
That's good there.
Yep.
So pretty much what I wanted to reference that clip for was they were talking about all the storms in the past, and they are right. All those years, I remember, even us up here in New England, getting really bad storms all those years. But Diggs, us growing up in Rhode Island, what were we always told about?
Blizzard of 78.
The blizzard of 78. There's a picture right there of Route 95 going through Providence. Not only was traffic at a standstill, they got snowed in onto the highway. Here's a quick YouTube clip I grabbed from local news to talk about it a little bit, to show you really what was going on.
Remember this? This is the storm that shut down Rhode Island and Massachusetts for a week. We're talking about the blizzard of 78.
It got so bad the National Guard was activated to help. 100 people died in this storm. 12 News meteorologist TJ Del Santo spoke with people today who remember the storm vividly.
4.9 inches. That's all the snow we've gotten so far this winter. That's how much snow fell in 1 hour during the blizzard of 1978.
Damn.
And it continued to snow and snow and snow.
That is the worst I've ever seen.
It snowed heavily for nearly 2 days.
And I've been in New England all my life.
The whipping winds created whiteout conditions.
It would start sleeting and snowing across. There was no visibility whatsoever. Very cold, very windy.
28 inches of snow fell at the airport.
And the next morning when I woke up, my car was covered. All you saw was the antenna.
Nearly 3 feet in Providence, 3 to 4 feet in northern Rhode Island and into Massachusetts.
Somebody came back into the lab and said, hey, you guys, you got to get out of here. It's really snowing out there.
Norm Tripp was in Hudson, Massachusetts during the storm.
Good 3 feet. People had gotten stalled like on 128 and the major highways, and it just stopped it. They just walked away from their cars. They had to.
Nancy Howland was in West Warwick when the storm hit.
It took me like 3 hours to get home. We thought it would never stop. It was a relief when it finally stopped.
The snow lasted for 2 days, and it even snowed a little bit on the third day, too.
Bulldozers and trucks and moved the snow out that
Denise worked in Johnston and made it home to Providence safely.
Unbelievable. Everything was shut down. We couldn't get out of my driveway probably till the week after.
Harrowing tales from a long ago but never to be forgotten storm which people got through together.
People shared everything. People were out of food or out of this or out of that. People shared a lot of things, helped each other out.
Advances in weather technology during the past 45 years have allowed us to warn people ahead of time about the dangers of a storm like the blizzard of 1978 or even the extreme cold that we had just this past weekend. I'm TJ Del Santo, 12 News.
So when I was watching BRVG and they were talking about all those storms, and then like, you know, because we heard it growing up all our lives from all of our elders, like blizzard of 78, blizzard of 78, blizzard of 78. In comparison to anything we've seen in our lifetime, we have never seen anything that bad yet. I mean, hopefully never, knock on wood, hopefully we never see anything that bad in our lifetime. And then me and Sanchez were talking about it earlier, like, we looked it up, and this blizzard also hit Jersey as well. We got it worse, but they got crazy numbers down there in Jersey as well during that same blizzard. And I just pray we never have to, like, 100 people died. A lot of things different back then, like the news anchor said. They didn't have any proper way to warn people the way they do now. The vehicles that we drive nowadays are a lot more prepared for weather like this. You can see in that picture, like look at the age of the cars that are trapped on that highway. I mean,
They're boats.
They're boats. They weren't made. They're not made out of plastic. They're fucking solid steel. Yeah, man, it was a big difference back then. But you know, all the storms that we got in our lifetime, I gotta say we're blessed, and hopefully we never see something like that. I mean, 100 people lost their lives because of a storm like that. That's just it's just something I'm always gonna remember. And anytime we get snow like we just got this past weekend, I'm always gonna be grateful, even though we got a shit ton. I'm just thankful we didn't get anything like that, because that's something that shuts the state down for weeks. You know what I mean? Not days. You know. So, and yeah,
we'll put all that snow.
Right, and that's actually the big thing I've heard too, going into this review and the snowstorm from this weekend. The big issue I'm hearing right now is like downtown Providence. Like they're saying that the snow is just, they don't have anywhere to put it. They're just piling up. All the sidewalks are still covered. Obviously, you know, Providence is the biggest like foot traffic and public transportation area of our state.
Yeah,
and people can't walk on the sidewalks. People have no place to park their cars. And yeah, it doesn't seem like the state has any type of like equipment or plan where. Right, and that's actually a great point. Bike riders, scooter riders, you know, anything like that, you're not going to be able to get around that way. Yeah, it's terrible. And for the fact that Providence knew this was coming and they didn't have any type of plan going ahead of where we're going to put all the snow.
They never have a plan.
And what boggles my mind is it's not like I brought up with BRVG, bringing up the old blizzards of the past we've had. I've seen them handle these situations before pretty well, and like, why this year of all years all of a sudden people can't get around? That makes no sense to me. So yeah, it seems like Providence definitely wasn't prepared for what we were getting. Maybe they thought it was a joke. I don't know.
Well, for the last few years, they said we were going to get hit, and we never do.
True, and that's actually what always happens in, well, most of the case. They'll sit there and say we're going to get all this type of snow, and then when it turns to rain, and we don't really get a lot of it. So
go get some milk.
Yeah, and dude, that's what happened right away. All the salt was gone. I couldn't get salt. You go to any grocery store, they were wiped out. Eggs, milk, bread, all the essential stuff. We're still doing, like, the public's still doing this toilet paper thing. Like, if your plumbing shuts off, what are you doing with toilet paper, bro? Like, I don't know what you're gonna do with it. You're gonna throw it in the garbage, and your garbage gonna smell like shit all day. Like, the toilet paper thing is wild. How they get so much of it. It's like, damn, bro. But they always panic. They always seem to be in a panic. But
the shit they buy, if you get stuck and you lose power,
yeah,
like beef jerky, shit like that. That's high in protein that you're gonna need.
Right. So you don't have to eat. You don't have to eat as much. Right. Well, if it was me, I'd get dog food. I don't know. I don't know how much I would need for the beast movie. Oh, junk food. Oh, you mean like chips and shit like that?
Yeah.
That just shows the average American's mind of what they want to eat. I'm sure our producer Sanchez would be like, "How much frozen pizza can I get?"
Even they're stocking up like it's a blizzard every day.
Yep. But all right, that's a wrap up on all my headlines, Diggs. It's time to get into your final cut.
So you said you watched this movie, right?
Yeah, you told me it was my homework. Remember?
All right. Listen, I know how you were in school. Homework wasn't always your thing.
Very true, actually. Very true. But if it's homework I enjoy, I'll do it. But especially something that's related to Rhode Island. That was super interesting to me. I've been hearing about this documentary for I don't even know how many years, and they finally put it on a platform that I have, and I didn't have to buy it or rent it. So yeah, I was all in. So when it came out, this came out last Friday on Netflix. I definitely jumped right in on it.
What did you think? Well, you should probably tell them.
Yeah, tell them what we're talking about, and then we'll get into it.
All right, we're talking about the secret mall apartment when Province Place Mall was being built.
It was first open.
A group of four guys, four friends.
I think it started with 2, then grew to 4. Actually,
No, I think it was four because it was the main guy, his wife, and the 2 friends. Then it grew to 8.
You're good. You're good, Corb. Glad to have you here.
They were all playing a game of let's see who can stay in the mall longest.
Yep.
The husband and wife guy goes for jogs when they were building it. Remember this little pocket.
Which is crazy. So that part right there alone, the fact that this guy paid so much attention to them building this mall, that he, in his mind, knew that there was a void of an area not being used. I don't even know how someone does that.
And how that he knew that it didn't get filled in eventually.
Right. I was like dumbfounded by this.
It was actually interesting seeing how like them building that wall and everything.
Yeah, so like this was such a crazy system of how they built this apartment. So really, it was just an open void in a like a
parking garage type.
It was like in between the parking garage and the mall itself. It was like a void on a concrete slab, and then like there was like 2 or 3 different ways to get into this area. One was very dangerous. They had like scaffold and shit, right?
Yeah, it was dark, couldn't see.
Yeah,
that was the first way they found to get up.
Yeah, and then they eventually found out there was a way to get in through like the employee only tunnels into the maintenance areas, and then there was another way in too. So they found a bunch of different routes to get in and out. And then like you said, they spent a bunch of time before they even found this area. They were walking around the mall. They were figuring out securities, like what their routines were, the other workers' like schedules, like with any other shoppers or bystanders notice what this like where they what they were doing. They were looking for they were just looking for the perfect little place so they can get away with staying in the mall for as long as possible. And I don't know how they found it, but they did. And then on top of finding the spot, they hung out for this spot for a little while. Then they decided to buy cinder blocks from the hardware store and drive them to the mall. And like they could, like the guys could carry like 4 at a time. The women could, like in the group, could carry like 2 at a time. There's only 8 of them total, and they had to get all these cinder blocks. And Mall of America has the same deal. People could live under the mall tunnels for days. I did not know that. I did not know
that either.
They did a documentary on that. But so what they wanted to do was to keep this area they found more secluded. So they literally bought, I don't even know how many total cinder blocks it was. Was it like 70 or something like that?
Something like that.
And they had to get the cinder blocks to the hidden room, which was a project of its own. The fastest way to do it was going through an emergency only exit, and whenever you open the door, it would sound an alarm. So at one part in this documentary, they get caught bringing the cinder blocks in. They get caught. So the leader of this fucking team here goes right up to the security guard and says, yeah, right before we came to the mall to shop, we went to the hardware store and bought a bunch of cinder blocks, came back after shopping. The cinder blocks are so heavy, my car won't run. So I got a guy downstairs in a truck. He's going to pick up the cinder blocks for me so I can get my car out of here. And the security guard bought it and just let them go on their merry way. And that's how they were able to get away with it.
I think they said it was 1:30 to unload and get all the cinder blocks inside that door.
Well, no, because they had to do, was it 4 trips? And then 2 tons of bricks. It was 2 tons of fucking cinder blocks, dude. It was ridiculous. And then on top of that, they also bought quick mix and concrete. They had to bring up jugs of water for the concrete. And then they actually bought a fucking door so they could put in a fucking door frame and have a lock and key. And then every member of this squad that was part of the apartment had a key to the secret apartment. I'm like, it was the most fucking ridiculous thing. This time period takes place back when like me and you were in like junior high school into high school.
Yeah.
Into the years of us going to getting like graduating. It's funny because when I was young, I went to that mall a bunch of times. You would have never known that was happening back in those days. Like, like there's people living in this mall secretly when you go in there shopping.
I think there was original talks about putting apartments inside that mall too.
Well, now there is because the mall's doing so bad. They're actually talking about legitimately putting apartments in the mall now because the mall's doing so bad. The owners of the mall have what happened?
Not foreclosed.
They went belly up somehow with their debt. I forget exactly the word terminology used for it, but oh my god, it literally one of the most ridiculous stories, and the fact that it came out of Providence is just not surprising to me. But and really, at the end of it, the leader of this whole little team that did this, for him, it was just a big fuck you to the city of Providence because he used to live in a neighboring building, these mills that the city eventually kicked everybody out of that were renting it and then tore the building down to build like a more upper scale apartment building.
No, they tore it down for the shopping mall.
Yeah, but they never built that. Because what's there now, right? Is those mill apartments. Like I've delivered plenty of equipment at our job there.
Those are nice apartments.
And they're really, that's what I'm saying. They're not cheap to live in, bro. Because anytime I delivered in that building, I'm like, this place is nice. It's a nice ass building. Yeah, so we also got a picture of the camera they were filming with back then.
So small it could fit in it.
They fit it in an Altoid can, right? Crazy. So what's the actual make and model of this called? Pentax Optio. It's a very small camera. And believe it or not, if you watch the documentary, you'll see that they enhanced the footage that was filmed from this. But still, for how old this camera was and the quality of what we got out of it to be added in that documentary, it's pretty impressive that some old tech like that, like the footage still stands, the pictures still stand to this day.
The camera still works.
And that's what in the documentary you find out that the same camera used for that is still operational to this day. They still have it, and they all still have their keys to the apartment too, which is absolutely nuts.
I just find it amazing that he had the whole idea to film the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
Even when it just started off as hide and seek, pretty
right.
much.
And then at a certain point in the doc, he does mention that they got so used to being there and going there that they completely just stopped filming altogether and documenting everything because they thought I think they got so cocky they felt like they were going to be there forever. No joke, Mall of America has 4 floors underground. Also, it expands a city block out from where the mall is. And people are living there, man. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Jam, you ever hit up Sanchez for me? I'll talk to him after the pod, bro. I'll talk to him after the pod. I did forget all about that though. That's funny. But yeah, let's hit your bullet points, Diggs. They're more like questions, right?
Yeah. How did more security workers and shoppers? No one catch on to this in what though? 5 years, 6 years, 4 years?
Yeah. So my answer to that would just be for security, there's no excuse, right? That's their fucking job. So
or is it they just do enough so they have the illusion of security?
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, I don't think I don't think there was so much security. They were just they just put on the security uniform and they drive the fucking security vehicle that looks like a cop car, and that's like exactly what that's exactly a good way to word it. Like they're really just the illusion of security. As far as workers and like shoppers, you know,
They don't care enough.
yeah, most people just mind their fucking business and move on with their life, right? So it was very easy for those type of people to just turn their head and move on. But yeah, I think like you said it. Yeah, security definitely it's the illusion of security. That's probably a problem. They should have been more detailed on their work, and I'm sure because of this they are now. But who knows? Maybe there's a whole family living in there.
No, they went in at the end and it was completely empty.
Right.
Since they were all artists, was this art or was it a crime?
So that's interesting. So that was the one thing about the documentary I don't know if I really caught the vibe with. And then I'm not an artist. I don't consider myself an artist in any fashion. So they obviously, when they were putting all this together in their head, they thought this was art. I do believe they believed it was art. Once you get the wall up, the door up, and it's just a hangout spot, where's the art in just hanging out there? It was not much. For me, it wasn't art once it was built. For me, it was more a place artists gathered to talk about art. You know what I mean? So maybe the project of putting it together was art, but after a while, it no longer was art. They definitely overstayed their welcome. Like when they proved their point that they could do it, like I didn't understand the point of keep going back and keep pushing it, keep pushing your luck, because they did. They got very lucky and they get away with it for a very long time.
I don't know how they didn't get caught pushing up any of that furniture.
The furniture, the concrete, the cinder blocks, all of it. I don't know how they got away with any of it. The fucking door frame and the door. Don't understand how they got away with any of it. It's really mind-boggling. I mean, I'm telling you, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, you gotta watch the documentary. It's on Netflix right now. Secret Mall Apartment. I think when I watched it last week, it was like number 8 on Netflix in the U.S. for movies. You got to check it out. It's ridiculous that they got away with this, and the fact that and the effort they put into getting all the stuff up there. It just
I would not put
Yeah.
that much effort. So as soon as you told me how to carry one cinder block in, I would have been like, "Yeah, fuck you." I'm done.
Yeah. It was like, dude, they you could tell that head guy, he had everybody listening to everything he had to say, dude. It was crazy. So
He kind of became obsessed with that apartment.
he did. He loved it. He was and then he ended up getting divorced because of it.
Yep.
He talks about that because his at the time wife during the apartment, eventually for her, she got fed up with it.
She wanted a real life.
She wanted
apartment.
Well, I guess while they were building the apartment, they also had just bought a place of their own. And on camera in the documentary, you see her concern. Like, don't you want to focus on building what we have? Like, you can see it. And, you know, to find out they got divorced is not so fucking surprising to me at all. I'm like, this guy was more concerned about a place that he could have got in trouble for at any minute instead of his own home with his wife. That was wild to me.
How do you feel about the mall being a symbol to our eye and that big change it did to Providence?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize because obviously we were young when they were building that mall. I mean, they were building it in the 90s. It opened in the early 2000s, or it opened in 99. I can't remember that.
Early 2000s, I want to say.
So, yeah, I thought that was weird. I do think that was weird. I mean, there was no way Providence was going to predict that in the future the internet was going to take over and ruin all retail shopping like it does now. So a mall like that would just be fucking obnoxious and an eyesore eventually. But yeah, I still think it's crazy that the city of Providence wanted to build this mall and make it the center of Providence. That, you know, there's so many other districts and things you could build to be the center of Providence. And now, even now, decades later, do we consider Providence Place Mall the center of Providence? I don't. Like, I think the water fires and things like that are more the center.
Where I got engaged.
Yeah, see where you got engaged. I mean, those are more the center of Providence to me nowadays. I never looked at the mall as the center of Providence. And also, they spent way more money on that mall than they needed to. What I did not know, the documentary alerted me to, was they had to move the railroads, and they had to move the fucking river to build the damn thing. Oh, you did all that to build a fucking mall? And then, and the reason why the architecture of the building's so weird is because they had to build it to fit along 95, so they had to mold it to the highway and the off ramp, and that's why it's the shape it is. It's like, it's fucking wild what they thought back then. But then again, that was RI in the 90s, bro. I'm not surprised.
No. All right.
You want to get to keep or kill?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
What do you think about the concept? The documentary and the apartment.
Yeah, I would definitely keep both. Very interesting, very intriguing. You know, and I'm also glad the documentary wasn't just solely set on just the apartment. It was about the friend group behind it, and it was also about the history behind the mall itself and the changes of how Providence became what we know as Providence today. So I would keep the concept.
All right. How about how long they got away with it?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays that wouldn't happen. For people that ran that fucking mall, I'd say shit. Can I go in between here? Like, I wouldn't. I guess I'd keep it, but I'd also kill it. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy they got away with it for 6 years or whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't believe that either.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Kill or keep that awesome mall security.
Wait, the mall? Oh yeah, definitely fucking kill that.
Come on, you could have been the two security guards going up partying during their shifts.
Oh yeah, I know that's true. The two security guards that found the apartment finally, they didn't even report it right away because they had a fucking PlayStation 2 in the apartment. They were going in there on their breaks, smoking weed and playing video games. That's what the fucking security guards were doing.
I would have kept doing that and not told the bosses at all.
Yeah, honestly, you might be right. I'm gonna keep that.
How about the documentary style? How did you feel about that? Was it?
I'm a big buff. I'm a big
self run gun.
I'm a big fan of documentaries of all kinds, and I think I would definitely keep it because I love the indie style of the doc, and the fact that the doc has been around for years and it's just now making its way to a major platform like Netflix. And it obviously in the first week it blew up to make the top 10 in movies for the US. Very impressive for an indie documentary, you know, made by some local filmographers. So yeah, I definitely keep it.
Me too. Kill or keep the hole at the end.
What do you mean? What hole at the end?
Let's sum it up. Keep it as of right now. It looks like we had 2 kills, 1 kill, 2.
You mean so everything we went over?
Wrapping it up.
Keep
it, not kill it.
Yeah, I would keep it. Yeah, I would definitely keep it. Absolutely. Yeah, I think overall the story hits a little harder for us because we're locals. I get that, but yeah, I'd keep it. Yeah, was it art? I don't know. It definitely was rebellion, and like you said, it was definitely a genius prank. I'm sure the heads of the mall when they found that were fucking, their minds must have fucking blown, bro. So yeah, I would definitely keep it all. I thought it was a great story.
I've watched it a few times already.
Yeah, I can see myself getting bored one day and turning it on again and watching it again because yeah, it was definitely a good documentary to sit through. So
all right, I think that does it.
It does it for you. All right. Well, there was some additional things I wanted to say right before we get out of here. We're now on. What platforms?
Apple, Spotify.
Yeah, we're on
YouTube.
Apple, Spotify, and was there another podcast platform we're on? All right, so
And
those are
if you
the
go on Spotify, you get the video version and you can chat.
okay. All right, you can interact and stuff like that, and polls. Okay, all right, sweet. And then obviously you can always check us out right here on Clean Cinches Media on YouTube, The Only JM on Twitch.tv, Diggs 401 on Twitch.tv, and yeah, that's where we're at. I'm The Only JM on all socials, Diggs 401
on all socials.
And then yeah, it's Thursday, so make sure tomorrow morning you check out Morning Rips with Clean Sanchez and Geo Goblin Gaming. And then Saturday you'll have another episode of Bomb Rips and Video Games with those two and Strange Dabs. So shout out to them.
The homies.
Shout out Ember. Shout out everybody that was in chat. Frzensky, Corbin, Toshio, everyone that was chilling with us. Everyone that was chilling with us. Appreciate you guys. Until next week, have a great week and stay safe out there.
Later, homies.
Peace.
Check. Yo. I'm not hungry for the fame, can't let it own me. Even in a busy room, sometimes it gets lonely. That's why I stick close to my codees, they hold me. If I make it big, I'm buying all of them a rollie. But for now I'm G-shocking, it's shocking. I'm blank on, my music ain't popping. Didn't wanna know my name back in those days, yet I'm clocking. Haters still seem to be flocking. You rap about K's, but really you get P. Nuts, stunting like the Ice Age squirrel with his nuts. Real rappers at the bottom, they're kinda like butts. Smoke 'em, flick 'em out if they don't rap tough. Hurry, cause like Andy Murray, I'm trying to cause a racket with my